Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Arijit Paul. I'm a trainer for ChatGPT course from Uplatz. Today's topic is using ChatGPT in Excel and how we can get data insights out of it. So, today we are going into the practical integration of ChatGPT, and we'll start with MS Excel. We'll get to figure out how we can be able to use ChatGPT into getting some very good insights. And also, we will be able to use it so that we are able to get the best, we are able to do the best practices and visualize the data and combine the text generation capabilities of ChatGPT with the data analysis capabilities of Excel. So, we have used ChatGPT for variety of purpose. We can use ChatGPT for content creation, for marketing plans, to write emails. But have you wondered how we can use ChatGPT in MS Excel? So there are a lot of ways, and we can easily seamlessly integrate ChatGPT with the capabilities which MS Excel has, and Microsoft has already released Copilot. So in Copilot, you will be getting the features of ChatGPT. You will be able to understand how to use that. Um, for now, let me help you. If you just have this tool, if you don't know anything about Copilot, if you just have this tool of ChatGPT, then how can you use that in Google Sheets? How can we able to use that in Excel? So let's do it, and let's kind of get an idea by using some data, by taking sample data, which we'll use ChatGPT itself to take the data, and then we'll get some insights and we'll able to solve some problems, get into some solutions where we will take the help of OpenAI's ChatGPT to highlight and to make our work more automative. It should be more productive, and this is something which we all need to do. So we need to save time, we need to give time to ourselves in order to upskill, in order to learn new things. So at the end of the day, what we can have with good amount of time is a good amount of learning capabilities. The more we are able to learn, the more we are able to grow. So this is something which we need to work on. Right? So let me set it up by keeping open Excel, and I have latest one from Microsoft 365. So let me, okay. So here we will try to get some solutions, and for that we need some data. Let's use ChatGPT to generate the data itself. Here it will definitely help us into getting the insights, and it will be very much important to know such concepts because this will give you the starting point of data analysis. This is the starting point of how we are manipulating data. We are using the aggregation functions. We are getting the profit. I'll also show you how we can get the VLOOKUP and index match using ChatGPT. And we'll go on to some other functions. So let's begin with aggregation function. So let's say prepare. Let's try to be consistent and let's use almost the same business. And suppose we are starting a bakery business. Okay, so bakery business is something which is expanding, and it is a very profitable business to work if we are able to get the most amount of our customers, if we are able to get a good understanding of our business, if we know the local customers, and if we can optimize, if we can use it. So this is something which we can use. So let's take the example of the bakery industry. So I have a data set of bakery related products and few customers, right? So let's start with a simple function. Let me start with the prompt saying that I want to learn the some function. Help me with a data set first where I can aggregate the sales column. It should also have, let's not mention this at the beginning. Let's see what ChatGPT comes up with, where I have mentioned that I need a data set of bakery products. Okay, see, now ChatGPT has given us a table. It has given us two columns. One is the product column and the sales column. Under the product column, we have certain products, bread, croissant, muffin, cookie, cake, and then there are certain sales amount. So what I'm doing is essentially I'm putting this in Excel. Okay, we see we have a minor issue over here. The data is coming in the dark theme, which is not supposed to happen. So let me just, okay, so yeah. So if I'm just pasting it over here, so in cell number A1, it starts with product column, and in cell B2, it starts with, rather in B1, it starts with the sales, right? So now, in order to get the sum function, in if we have to get some aggregation, what will we do? Right? See, now we have an understanding that if we just drag it down, then we'll have to see the column. See, we are able to get the sum over here. And suppose if we are don't know, or if we don't want to drag columns, because there are, it might be possible, right, in data sets, and there are hundreds of records, loads of records. So if we are using the fx function over here, so we are getting an option. Here we can get the understanding of a few functions, and it gives us the description, right? See, in some, it types a brief description of what you want to do and then click go. Okay. Um, okay. So here it is essentially telling us to get the sum and to use our own prompts in order to get the sum from Excel. So it is searching for that function, right? So if I give, I want to have total sales, what will it say? See, it's not correctly understanding the question itself, right? So if I just click on sum, okay, it's giving us some function if we click on sum. So that's the point. So if we don't know the function itself, if I just say I want to add up all the sales amount, see, it's not able to understand the prompt properly. Uh, what if we know it's sum? What if we get sum? And then what? See, after that, it's giving us the reference that number one, number two. So that is something which we had inferred from our knowledge. Excel is not able to help us into getting the total sales amount. But here in ChatGPT, what have we got? This dataset contains a list of bakery products and their corresponding sales numbers. You can use the sum function to aggregate the sales column to find the total sales. That is great. So it has essentially given us a code, and it has given the cells from where it starts and where it ends. So when I had given ChatGPT the code, it had assumed that I will paste this entire table onto A1, where the product will be A1 and sales will be B1. So the sales column, the amount is starting from B2. So that's how ChatGPT had interpreted the information, and it has given us the result of this column. If we apply this into the sum, suppose if I want to say the total over here, right? If I just want to know the total, okay? So here, if I just paste it and see enter, it's giving us 545. We are able to get the summation of this product. Here, see it's saying 545. And with the help of formula, we have used this formula and I haven't made any changes. I got the total of the sales figure. See how it's being so effective, where I had created a data set and ChatGPT has helped me to create the data set, input the values, and also help me understand this function. Suppose I want to know more. Okay, suppose I've just explained the function. So help me understand the sum function. If I'm just prompting this, okay? So if I start at the beginning by saying act as a MS Excel expert, see here the major changes happens. If we are asking for help and without specifying, then it will definitely help. But the most accurate prompts, the most relevant prompts is something which ChatGPT will output, and ChatGPT will definitely produce that as an output if we are able to properly and correctly highlight it. See, that's how I've mentioned. I told ChatGPT to act as an MS Excel expert and help me understand the sum function. It has given such a good understanding and such a wide kind of response. See, okay, if it's too big, then I just want to say just help me with the syntax of sum in Excel and be short. So I've told ChatGPT that this prompt is too long to be little to be short than this. And see, it has given us such a easy response. It has given us the syntax and it has given us the entries, like why are we putting number one, number two? So what does this mean? So these are the numbers or cell reference we want to add together. You can include up to 255 numbers or cell reference as arguments to the sum function. So it has given us a proper understanding of the basic function with subpoints. See, with the basic usage, this is just the basic usage we are getting. We also have an option to sum up a range of cell instead of numbers. If you want to add any number together, if we want to sum up a range of cells, which was precisely what I did. So this is the option. Instead of listing individual numbers, you can specify a range of cells that contain the numbers you want to sum. This is something which is very important. We also have the option of mixed references, where you can also mix individual and cell references with the sum function. So this is something which we don't actually use, but ChatGPT has also given us this option. This formula will add up the numbers in cell A1 through cell A10. So here it has given this option, see, sum A1 to A10. So this is the range, and then we got 100 and then again B5. So this will keep on adding this up. This will add up and this will go the plus 100. So 100 is plus 100 plus the value in cell 5. So with each occurrence of the comma, it is getting the additions as well. Here it's not a comma. Here the separator is an apostrophe s, and here this is signified to get the cell reference or the ranges from the start to end. And here we have two more entries which we can add up. See, it is giving us more options, like in situations in the real business world, We also have a problem of empty cells where we have to handle the empty cell values. So if any of the cell you are summing contain empty or blank values, the sum function will simply ignore them and still give you only the sum of the non-empty cell. We have the name ranges options and also arrays. So if I have to understand name ranges, arrays, these are some other functions as well. These are some advanced functions where this is also used in Power BI, where if we can define the table and if we can define the data, we can categorize it. We can categorize this entire data in form of a table, right? And suppose what we do, let me just put another entry. Okay, let me put the entry of pastry and let me do a 300. Okay. So yeah, essentially this won't work because we have also included a new entry. So this is not correct. This is only taking this in inference into account. So yeah, we can definitely highlight this. So if we just stretch it down, see here we are getting 845. We are using this sum function to achieve that. But what if we can define this table? And so now essentially we have defined a table and it is in the name of table 1. So if we rename this table into sales, right, then what will happen? Okay, we do have a sales column. So sales new, then we have the option to define the table name, right? Okay. Mm, maybe due to some reason, this is not getting saved. So once we are able to save it, then I can be able to assign a table name into this. So now see, we have the option sales, sales new, table 1. Okay. So if we have to get the sum of this, right? If we just say sum, like ChatGPT has mentioned, sum sales. So we're just copying it from ChatGPT and we just want the sum of sales. See, it is automatically highlighting this since I've defined the table. It's giving us the same value. So this is the difference which I wanted to show. One is of name ranges and one is of summing up a range of cells. So we have two values of the same amount. One, we are summing up a range from B2 to B7. And the another one, we are just naming it and we are summing it by sales. Sales is name of this column. So here in Power BI, in the name part, let's see what it has given. Well, it has mentioned sales could be a named range referring to a specific range of sales containing sales data. So here it also clarifies that we are taking the name of the column into account. And that is why it is giving us this amount, right? Yeah. See. So this is the sum function is for what it's concerned. So we have the sum. What if we want the average, right? What if we want the average as well? Then what? If I just put it down, then yeah, see here I'm getting an average. But what if I want to define this? I want to define an average in this cell, in the cell of E3. So then what? We do have a naming convention. We do have the average function, right? So then what? Number 1, number 2. So this is something which I know that if we just drag this down, we will able to get the full average of this. But suppose I don't want to do that. Suppose I want to make my work easier and I want the help of ChatGPT into making this. So what I will say is help me, find the average. So if I just mention to ChatGPT to help find the average, so it has given the example and it has taken us a formula, right? A1 to A10. Just paste this formula over here. Wait, what is it? Yeah. Just paste this formula and all you need to do is make some changes. Because I haven't given this data set to ChatGPT. That is why ChatGPT has given us an example. So this is just an example where A1 to A10 is the range of cells, which is a hypothetical example that ChatGPT had defined. So here we know the real range, and this is this range itself. Um, See, it's giving an error because I haven't clicked on the range before and I just dragged it down. So it's still taking this range into account. What I can do is I can change this essentially. I can change this. I can change this to B2 and here it's taking B10 into account. So we just need to name this correct position properly. See, we just need to drag it down and press enter. See, it's giving us the proper way. Now, if I want to round this off, okay, we have it's coming 140.8333. So essentially, we have to round it off. So in order to decrease the decimal, we use this function to decrease the decimal. And here, see the average is coming correct. And we have used ChatGPT to get the average of this, right? Now, if we want ChatGPT to give this answer, then we need to submit or we need to help ChatGPT with the data, right? And mention now correct the average function. Sales amount starts from B2. I just mentioned this. So then what? Look at this. I had put the data and nothing I have said. Okay, I didn't mention which data ChatGPT should take or which data it should start with. I just mentioned just correct this average function. Sales amount starts from B2. So ChatGPT immediately adjusted the formula and here it has given B2 to B7. So why did ChatGPT give B7? Because it understood the data I have given and it automatically assumed that it will end in 300, assuming I don't have any other records. So that's how ChatGPT had assumed based on the data I have provided, and it prompted with the correct response. See the average from B2 to B7, and see now we have the average as well, right? I'm just redefining it. Okay. Um, okay. I want to have the cost price and the selling price to get the profit. Include more data in the dataset had previously shared. Right? So here I have mentioned ChatGPT to essentially give us another data set where we can be getting some more insights. So here we have the sales quantity, right? Now I think this is the sales quantity. Here we have the cost price, and here we have the selling price. Okay. So now Now, what it has mentioned, it has also given the example of the first row that the cost price is 50, selling price, if it's 70, then the profit is selling price minus cost price. So it will be $20. Let me copy this data first. And just give me a moment. It's perfect. So now we have the correct information. We have some more new columns with the cost price and the selling price. So we can see this cost price of bread is 50, while the selling price is 70. The Crusoe, the cost price is 30, the selling price is 40, right? So here I'm saying is profit, and I want to find out the profit, right? So how can I find out the profit of this? How can I sum it up in one formula to get the profit, right? Let me ask the same to ChatGPT, where I'm prompting, how can I get the profit in Excel using the existing data? See, this is how we are able to get the answer. To calculate the profit in Excel using the existing data, you can simply subtract the cost price from the selling price for each product. So this is amazing. And it is also giving us the option of how we are able to do it. If we assume the data set is in columns A to D, so it has given the assumption. The assumption runs as products in column A, sales in column B, cost price in column C, and selling price is column D. We are not going to get everything on assumption. Indeed, for this example, we have the correct information, but in order to write better prompts, I would just like to add one thing. So to get the best insights, we can also include some little information in the prompt itself. Can start with product is in A, just in a very small way. Sales is in B. Let's shorten cost price as CP and selling price as SP. I haven't mentioned the same that we have shortened this, but still we are removing this assumption into, like, we are throwing it out of the window. And this is what we are coming up with. See, in the previous prompt, ChatGPT had assumed it. It had assumed, assuming the dataset is in columns A to D, the data starts, we can place a formula in cell E2, and again assuming. So there are a lot of assumptions is coming up, right? So in order to make the task of ChatGPT easier, in order for it to give us better prompts, we can name our columns, we can name it. And this is something which we can practice so that our work becomes easier at the same time. So here it has mentioned to calculate the profit in Excel using the existing data, you can subtract the cost price from the selling price for each product. You can do this by adding a new column next to the existing data where you will calculate the profit. See, it has given us a code. I have copied it, and suppose if I'm pasting this to Excel, okay, suppose I'm doing the profit over here, right? Okay, just me use this one. So I'm putting the profit over here and I'm pasting the code, or we can just paste on part itself. See, essentially, it is highlighting the D2 from selling price and C2 as the cost price. I'm dragging it down. See, now we have the profit for each and every product. Isn't this amazing? So this is something which we can use to get the profit out of each product. Once we have the profit from the part one from E2, what I did is there's a little on the edge of the corners, the cursor will shorten to black. And it's very important for us to drag down the entire contents from the profit column to the last existing column. Right? If we click on this, we can see that everything is formalized. Nothing has been done from our end, nothing has been done manually. I have used ChatGPT to get the data inside from this. We have used the copy code, and here it's mentioned this formula subtracts the cost price C2 from the selling price D2 to calculate the profit for the first product. And here it's mentioned in point 4. Now click on cell E2 again to select it. Then double click the small square at the bottom right corner of the cell. The fill handle, see, it's called the fill handle, where it will essentially change whenever it goes to the edge of the corner. See, it will essentially change. And ChatGPT has correctly identified it and mentioned to drag it down to fill the formula for the rest of the products. Excel will automatically adjust the cell reference for each row. So the formula will calculate the profit for each product correctly based on its cost price and selling price. See, this is the easy interpretation we are getting. And what I've done, I've just used ChatGPT to get the profit out of this. See, it's a good business at the end of the day. Bakery business is a good business. It's not a bad business at all. So if we want to get the total profit, what will we do? Right? We can just take the cell reference, E2 and his E7. Help me in getting the total profit. It starts from, let me just reference it. See, I've just mentioned the ranges as well. Now, what will ChatGPT do? It is giving us the answer where it is mentioned to calculate the total profit, this total profit again. We can use the sum function again. It has given us the range where I have mentioned where it starts and ends. You can essentially copy this. And if you want to get the total profit, we just need to highlight a cell to drop, whether it will be here or below. I'm putting it right here, pasting the code. See, it is getting the range. Whenever we are putting sum E2 to E7, it's getting us the range. And here we have the total profit. It's 215. Suppose now, if I want to understand some other functions, right? If I want to get some other options, some advanced function of Excel, then where can we begin? So I want to start with something. I want to start with an advanced function. Okay. So have you understand the lookup functions? In Excel, we have separate lookup functions. We have VLOOKUP, we have XLOOKUP, we have HLOOKUP. So now VLOOKUP is one of the most commonly used functions in MS Excel. So if I start my prompt with saying, I want to use VLOOKUP function, make the data set in such a way where we can find we can find or let's say we can find with the help of an so is there any product which we want to look up into? Let's say we want to look up into cookie, right? So let's say cookie and find cookie in a table and return the selling price, right? Or let me say just return the price. Let's see what happens. If it modifies the data set, then that's well and good. See, it's modifying the data set now because see, in this column we had the cost price and selling price. So simply if I would have written we need to find the price, then it might not have been able to properly give us the answer. So I wanted to get a modified data set. So again, it has modified it and it's kind of similar to the aggregation part. So, okay, let me paste it over here. So now, if we want to find, see, what have I mentioned in the prompt? I have mentioned to help me how we can find, with the help of an Excel formula, we wanted to find the price of cookie in a table and return the price. So yeah, I can change this, but the prompt will again regenerate. So I don't want that. So I have mentioned ChatGPT to help me with a formula where I can reference this, that how can I be able to find with the help of any lookup function. And Excel has a very powerful lookup function called VLOOKUP. See, it is giving us an entire formula where if we want to find the price of a cookie, we can use this function. We can essentially use this entire function. We can use this code. Here, this option is there to copy code, and I've copied it. I can use this VLOOKUP function to get the value of it, to understand this. See, it's again assuming this table is located from cell G1 to H6, you would use the following formula. So it is again assuming that the table is loaded in G1, but again, it is loaded in A1, and this is something which we have to change this. So essentially, I'm copying this formula and typing here VLOOKUP. So this is a very important function of Excel, and I'm using ChatGPT to get this, to get the idea of how we can use this. Right? That is the best part. So what have I done? See, if it chooses this column G1 to H6, see, this is how it's coming. It will get this data. But this is something which we won't want, right? We don't want this. We want A1 and we want it from A1 to B7. So this is the range we want, right? This is the range we want. So we need to make some changes into this formula or else this won't work, right? Great. We have essentially bought 80 because the query was, I want to use the VLOOKUP function, make the data set in such a way where we can find the cookie. We can find the cookie in the table and we can return the price. So VLOOKUP essentially inferred through the entire table and it had found out cookie or this product category called cookie, and it given the output of the value or the price. With the help of formula, we got this input. Suppose if I want to look, I want to look the cake, right? I want to look the VLOOKUP of cake. So this is of cookie. And what if I want to have the VLOOKUP of cake as well, right? So I'm just copying this up and I've expanded this and just renamed it to cake. So here we can be able to do the same thing. Uh, Now I'll give some context to ChatGPT, right? I want to find the price of cake. And also I want to put some extra information. Okay, so yeah, I think made a small mistake into this. See, if you want to stop anything, we have the stop option. So yeah, let me just provide the data which I missed. Uh, The range is from A1 to B7. I'm just defining the range. So here, I wanted to know the formula of VLOOKUP, and I wanted to know how we can be able to use VLOOKUP to find this. See, it has started with VLOOKUP, then cake, the range, then two, then false. This is everything which we need to know regarding VLOOKUP. So I'm doing nothing. I'm just listening to what ChatGPT has mentioned. It went through this table. It is, I want VLOOKUP of cake. So essentially the formula is, first is the function name. This is the VLOOKUP. This is the function name. The name of the Excel function we are using. The second output or the second input is the lookup value. So here we are using lookup value and we are using cake because this is the value we are looking for, which is the cake in this case. So this is the product whose price we want to find. Here is the table array. The table array consists of the range of cell where the table containing the products and their prices is located. The first column contains the products. The second column contains their corresponding prices. That is amazing. The fourth argument is column index number. So this specifies which column in the table array contains the value we want to return. Since the prices are in the second column of the table array, we specify two. It is giving us the exact reason, the exact understanding of why we are using this. What is the reason we are specifying two? And at the end, they have the range lookup, which is false. This argument specifies whether we want an exact match or an approximate match. Since we want to find the price of the cake exactly as it appears in the table, we use false. So we have two options, true or false. We have the option of also not ignoring this. We can simply end this at the column index number as well. But it's very important to have a range lookup. In false, this is something which I want to ask ChatGPT about. Okay. Let me challenge ChatGPT. So there are certain ways where we can ask feedback. We can seek clarification from ChatGPT. I have written this formula and I think I am correct. can you explain which formula is correct? So if I mention this and the argument which I'm doing instead of false is 0, right? So here I am essentially writing a different output. So here we'll understand that both are same. In a way, both are same. If I'm using false and if I'm using 0, it's same. See, yes, your formula is correct. Let's break it down. Lookup value is same, tabular is same, this is also same, but the range lookup, here I had put 0 instead of false, and here it's mentioning this argument specifies whether you want an exact match or an approximate match. So exact match is something where we can write either false or 0. If we want an approximate match, then we can write 1 or we can write true. So here it is essentially correcting myself, and it's saying that I am correct, I'm not wrong. It is also giving the explanation which it missed up over here. So it has not added that we can also write 0 instead of false. But when I am using another formula, which I can write, so ChatGPT here is essentially correcting itself and also highlighting that if we want to find the price of the correct exactly, or if you want to find the price of the cake exactly as it appears, you, we can use 0, which is equivalent to false. So this is how we have used the VLOOKUP function with the help of ChatGPT. So just let me, yeah, right. This is VLOOKUP. And here I want to understand some more formulas. Like I want to get some more insights, right? So what if we use ChatGPT to remove duplicates? How can we do that, right? I'm just using the same methodology which I have used, right? I want to find the price. This is not gonna work out. Okay. Okay, let me use this. This will be great. I'm just making some changes. I want to remove. I want to only have unique values with the help of Excel functions, where we can identify the duplicates and also remove them. So I'm essentially using ChatGPT to get me another data set where we'll have some duplicate values, and I want to have unique values. I want to not have any duplicates, because in the real world, if we are working with ChatGPT, then we have a lot of you can say a lot of um, problems where we are not able to find the duplicate values. And if we have values repeating, then what will happen? Okay, give me a better informed data set which has price in a table form. So essentially, sometimes ChatGPT will give us this kinds of entries. It won't properly understand it. So, okay. So here I haven't mentioned the fact that we need duplicate entries. So now let me just simplify the problem and let me just elaborate this. Identify the duplicates. As unique records. Is it possible? Can we use Excel to do all these functions? So we do have an understanding that we use some advanced tools. We use Python, SQL, we use Power BI, but we also have the option of identifying and removing duplicates to identify the unique records. So this is very important. Unique. So here, see, we have some products which is repeating, bread is repeating, cookie is repeating, croissant is repeating again. So in order to identify the duplicates, what can we do? So we can use this formula. We can use COUNTIF to identify the duplicates, right? How can we do that? Okay. Essentially, it's giving us the entire range. Uh, so So suppose if we want to mention this and we want the range properly, it starts from A2 to A10, right? So if I'm essentially limiting this to A2 to A10, and see here's the option it's giving, that how can we identify the duplicates? To identify duplicates, we can use the COUNTIF function. So if we want to check if bread is duplicated, do we have more than one amount of bread? Yes. See, now we can understand that bread has two values instead of one. So this is how we can be able to identify the duplicates by using the COUNTIF function. So COUNTIF is very important into properly gazing and properly understanding. So yeah, so I'm leaving this aside. What is the second part? The second part focuses on getting unique records, right? So in unique records, to get the unique records in Excel, you can use the remove duplicates feature. So it is also giving us the end-to-end process. So ChatGPT is not a tool where it can just give us the functions and we'll use it to copy to paste. It knows Excel end to end in which option, where we can be able to find the option to get the unique records. So we also have the data tab in Excel. In the data tab, we have the option of remove duplicates. In the remove duplicates, we have to make sure the checkbox for the columns we want to check. And in this case, it will be product column and then click OK. Let's see what happens if we do that. Okay, we do have the duplicates option, but if we click, it's giving us an error. This can be applied to the selected range. Select a single cell in a range and try again. So it's been already selected to this range and that's why it cannot remove the duplicate. What if we select the entire range, then go to data and remove duplicates? It gives us the warning. This time it says Microsoft Excel found data next to your selection. See, it has found data. So because you have not selected this data, it will not be removed. What do you want to do? See, now if we want the data to be removed as well with the duplicate, we use the same function. Now, what is happening? Now, if we select the data, and in use cases, this will be the situation in work. where we have to remove duplicates, and we have Excel. What will we do? We have the option to select all and unselect all. Here I'm selecting products, I'm selecting price, and I'm clicking on OK. Let's see what happens. Great. We had three duplicates over here, three duplicate values it found, and along with the price, it removed it. Seven unique values remain. So, with the help of ChatGPT, I got an entire step on how I can get the unique records. And this helped me into removing the entire records as well. This is amazing. This is essentially the best feature of ChatGPT of how we are able to make this information and make these insights. Make a few usernames with domain. Let me finish this in ChatGPT and create a data set out of this relevant to bakery business. So this is something which essentially we can use to customize the kind of data we want to generate. So see, it is again giving us data in a different format. We can definitely copy this, and in Excel, if we try to implement this, it might not get us our desired outcome. See the way it's giving the data. See, it's not correct. How can we correct it? Make the data in a table format. So essentially, let's take this out, and see, now we are getting the correct thing. But I want the entire username with domain in a new column. So, so then what will happen? See, now it's giving us the correct information. It's giving us username with domain and also the email address. So now we have a data which has username, it has domain, and also it has the email address. Suppose if I just want baker 123 from this. Okay, I don't want this at the rate and all. So if I don't have this column, then what will happen? See, now we have the username. Okay, suppose I don't have the username. So in this situation, what will we do? We can manually type this, but it will take a lot of time. We can, okay, what's this? We can definitely like, okay, see, this is also not very convenient because whenever I'm trying to click on this, it's giving me it's giving me an introductory link to go to this outline. So if we are using like this, if we are creating and if we are trying to extract this, it will take a lot of time, right? It will take a lot of time. So what's the output? Let's ask ChatGPT, right? If we want to extract this information before the domain name, how can we do that? So I'm writing a simple prompt. Write an Excel formula to extract all the text before the character. Let's define the range. That's the least we can do. So the range is from C2 to C6, right? So here what is essentially it's telling. It's giving us the option to extract all the text before a specific character. See, I haven't mentioned which character. I should have mentioned this. And in writing prompts, we'll come across situations where we need to mention this. Okay? So here I haven't mentioned this. I wanted ChatGPT to give me a solution of what I can do and how we can enable this, right? So this is how the formula works. I'm copying this code. Okay, I want the username over here. The username column is already given. I'm writing a prompt and I'm getting Baker 123. I'm dragging this down and see I got all the other columns, all the other usernames. See, and I haven't dragged this, I haven't clicked on this and typed. It is using the left function in Excel. And here it is explaining us what essentially did. This formula finds the position of the character in cell C2 using the find function. Then it subtracts one from the position to exclude the character itself. Finally, it extracts the left portion of the text in C2 up to the position just before the using the left function. This is how I was able to extract this from the email, and now we have the username and we have the domain. This is essentially how we can use ChatGPT to enhance and to get data and to use Excel in order to get the maximum insights out of our data. Thank you.